This is a HeadGum podcast.
Bonus Thursday episode, back on a short week thanks to one of our new sponsors, Ring. That's right. You know what that sound is?
A doorbell?
Yes, the sound of a package being delivered or your friends coming over for dinner, but it's also the sound of someone planning to rob you.
Okay.
That's right. 95% of home break-ins happens during the day, and the burglars almost always start by ringing your doorbell to see if someone's home before pillaging your possessions.
This actually did happen to a friend of ours.
That's right. It did. So how does one stop it? I'll tell you how. We'll tell you how. The Ring Video Doorbell, you can see and talk to anyone at your door from anywhere in the world. It's a pretty neat little product, and it hooks up to your smartphone so that it's like having a surveillance camera on your phone so you can talk to people and get HD video of the whole thing. It's like having a neighbor keeping an eye on your home 24/7 without the judgment.
Yeah, only the neighbor's you. Hey, how's this?
Yeah.
You might have a smartphone, but you're an idiot if you're not using it to use Ring. Or that I stumbled across the end.
No, but yeah, I understood the basic gist was like smartphones are dumb.
No, you're still dumb. Just because your phone's smart, you're dumb. Unless you're making this good decision. You know?
Got it.
Yeah. Do you like it?
It's good. So put your mind at ease and protect
Means
your
a
home.
lot to me.
Okay, cool.
That you'd say so.
Protect your home with a video doorbell that Time Magazine and USA Today called one of their top 10 gadgets. And right now, our users, that's right, mine and yours listeners, get free expedited FedEx shipping when you go to ring.com/ifiwereyou. So if you're interested in this product or you want to better protect your
anybody
home,
that got a URL that fucking good.
Yeah, we're talking about ring.com/ifiwereyou. With Ring Video Doorbell, you're always home. That URL, once again, is ring.com/ifiwereyou. This is a very special episode. I'm glad Ring brought us back on a Thursday because your mom was in town.
Yeah, and my mom is a very special lady. She was a very special guest. This episode will go down in history as my favorite episode of all time because my favorite person of all time was guesting for not once, not twice, but her third time.
Awesome.
So
cool.
It actually is a pretty important it's a date to be remembered for sure.
All right. Well, enjoy the episode. Things got real. We should say
don't just enjoy it, relish it.
Okay, relish the episode.
This is my mother.
We're talking about. I wanted to mention real quickly that we're coming to Austin again. The HeadGum
We're going to
Podcast
keep on
Fest.
mentioning it because
it's going to be a party. Literally.
Also, our show, I don't want to hyperbolize, so I won't say it almost sold out, but it's the tickets are moving pretty fast, so you should buy them now.
There's not a ton. So if you're interested in seeing us or any of your other favorite HeadGum podcasters, the URL is ifiwereyoushow@gmail.com. Let's get started. Things got real.
Wait,
Bye.
you said the email instead of the website?
ifiwereyoushow.com? Ifiwereyoushow, I said at gmail.com?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, shit. Well, the URL is ifiwereyoushow.com.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't even know what you said. But if I were you. Ta-da!
If I were you, Amir and Jake, the masters of advice. The only podcast for advice that's hosted by Amir and Jake.
Very, very nice.
A little macabre.
I
Soothing.
loved that.
Whoa, my mom's here.
Hey guys, hello.
Hola, mama.
How are you?
Hola, mamito.
Nice.
Thank you.
What does that mean?
It's like hola, jovito, but I said hola, mamito.
Did you know that Jake was bilingual?
Languages were never his strong suit.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What is that
hon.
supposed to mean?
What
She did
means
pretty
that?
well on the English SAT.
And that's
On the verbal
monolingual.
SAT,
I mean,
of course.
that's your language. You're not. Yeah.
Languages were never my strong suit.
Foreign languages.
Oh, all right.
I'll
Well,
qualify
I
it.
guess.
What did you get on your verbal SATs? Do you remember?
I actually do.
What, Jake got?
Oh, what Jake got?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do.
let's
Can I
say
say
it at the same time, if you remember.
690.
I thought
Wow.
it was 640.
No,
I'll
it's
take
690. It was 690. You got 640 on your math.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
All right.
That's actually, you did better than me on verbal.
We should check the record. I don't know if it was 690.
You don't even want to take credit for it.
What did you get?
I got a 640.
And what
Wow.
did you get on your math?
800, of course.
Yeah, I was going to
Did
say.
you get 800?
That's what
you
I
got
would
800
guess.
math?
Yeah, I've got 800 math.
I don't think I see. I feel like I got like 200 math.
You know, they say you got 200 for writing your name.
It was another test for like I don't know, it was some other. It was like a midterm math test where I wasn't a great math student, but I forgot my TI-83 calculator, and they wouldn't let me go back out to my car to get it.
Wow.
So I had to take this math test without my a midterm without my calculator, and and it brought me down to a D in the class. And it was like senior
remember
year,
that?
so I didn't get
kind of
into
do.
a couple colleges.
It sounds
This
like
is true.
because I was taking like a low-level math class, and I got
Yeah.
a D.
It sounds like you're making up the excuse right now to me. You're like, and then they wouldn't let me get the calculator, so I got a D, so that's why I
Mr.
can't.
Rich hates me, Mom. The teachers all hate you.
Yeah, all the teachers hate me specifically.
But they did not let me go out to the car to get the TI-83.
I just don't understand that kind of desire to see people fail for
I think because
a-
I was a bad student. And
Yeah.
they thought that like, you know, what does he really have in his car?
You're taking the teacher's side.
I mean, I didn't do very much to earn their trust.
Also, like, if you're a bad student and like you give the teacher an opening, he just fucking loved the fact, like, oh, sorry, I don't think you can go to your car. Imagine like an asshole tempting you and poking you for 8 months, and they're like, can you do me a favor? You're like, no, I don't think I can do you the favor.
Yeah, teachers are people too, and they're petty and small. Just like me, I haven't forgotten it to this day. I bet those teachers also haven't forgotten. Remember, we wouldn't let that little bitch Hurwitz onto his car?
The principal high-fiving him.
Well, I was a teacher, and I can tell you that we do that.
Oh, really?
You are exactly right.
So
You're
if there's a
not just being
troublemaker that
paranoid.
needs a favor, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm afraid
don't
I
think
can't answer
so.
that
I
question.
I don't
can
think
bend the
so.
rules for you.
Nah, some teachers do, but then you reach the saturation point, you just burn out, and then you just, you're hardened.
You know what came up a lot in my high school? Or not a lot, but I seem to remember this as a specific thing. Like during a test, you can't ask any questions,
Yeah.
And then there's like a vaguely worded question, and it's like, I don't even know what this said. Like, I'm not asking you how to answer it, but I don't know what you mean by like what's asking. And she's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
can't tell you
Nope.
anything. But
Yeah.
then if like a bunch of people came up and like I also don't understand like the language used in this, then she'll be like, all right, fine. I'll specify. I'll explain this one thing. But other than that, I really can't answer any questions. Is that a thing that they teach you as a teacher? Don't answer any questions during the test.
Yeah, they tell you not to answer questions during the test, but I guess if there's like a mass of people coming up and not understanding something that you did,
Yeah.
you have really an obligation to
Right, because
clarify.
if it's one student that's like, no, sorry, everyone else gets it, and then it's like 10 students are like, all right, I fucked up. Here's what I meant by that.
That's it. And usually if it's one student, it's that one same student who's always going to ask you that stuff.
Right.
Or like you say, I'll see you in class tomorrow, and they say, tomorrow's Saturday. It's that kid,
Tomorrow, that's a good one. I should say that. And then you should say, that's right, I'll see you tomorrow. Saturday.
For detention.
Detention. Close up of your
bitch.
stinky mouth. Not yours, but a teacher's stinky mouth. That theme song that we played was sent to us in September of 2013.
Whoa, blast from the
I just
past.
found old theme songs that I had never searched for in the Gmail.
Oh,
So that's
man.
2.5 years ago. And they said, our band is called Dead Relatives. We're from Louisiana. Let me know if you guys want this message. And then last week, 2.5 years after that, I wrote them back. I was like, hey, I just searched through old emails and I found this one. I hope it's not too late. And he said, no, of course not. Slight change. Our band is no longer called Dead Relatives because my grandma wasn't a fan of it.
Makes sense.
Their band is called my relatives
Living
didn't like it. Sweet Nanas now. No, it's called Cane Breakers. CANE.
Still sort of aggressive towards old people.
Yeah.
It is a little.
Oh, you don't like it?
Man.
How about Cane Breakers, Grandma?
Ow! I bruised my knee against your metal cane.
And they have a Facebook and a website called canebreakers.com and a new album in the works. So it's
I was
almost
check
good.
that out. I liked that song a lot.
I loved it. It was a little bit sort of like Guster or Ben Folds 5, that kind
Yeah.
of like gentle.
Josh
like,
Radin.
Yeah,
It was like
really
very
liked
minor
it.
key, sort of like gloomy a little
Yeah, I
bit.
liked it. I
Yeah,
liked it a lot.
really liked it.
Thanks for coming on our show again.
Oh, thank you for
Is this your
asking
second or
me.
third time?
It's the third time. Third time.
Gosh, this puts you in the Hall of Fame. Not a lot of 3-time guests on our program.
Just only the best for you, Mom.
You
I love you.
guys, I love you. I love you. I mean,
I love you so much. I'm gonna cry.
Oh, why?
I love you so much.
Why are you crying?
You're the best.
You guys have such an incredible setup here.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
this is
like
your first
so
time recording here.
impressed.
I do, or both of us?
Yeah, I mean, you guys.
Who does? Both of us? Or
Both
me?
of it. Both of you have an incredible. I mean,
But
this
I'm your
is-
son.
What does it matter? She's complimenting both of us. Not everything has to be tilted in your favor.
Yeah, I think
coming
Jake
from my
kind
mom.
of it does. Yeah. No,
My
this
little
is-
lady.
Well, since this is your third time on the show, you're a pro. But just
I'm
in
a
case,
pro. I know how it works. Yeah.
just in case there's any first-time listeners, this will be some people's first time listening to this podcast. Because,
Hard
like,
to believe.
invariably, like, one of our fans will be like, you got to listen to the show. And then somebody finally caves and says, all right, I'll try it. I'll test it out. I listened to the one with Jake and his mom. Is that really his mom?
Let's say welcome to those newcomers.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's an advice podcast that you're listening to. It's called If I Were You Show. It's the only advice podcast on the internet hosted by me and Jake. And then sometimes it's just us two, and sometimes we have guests.
Jake's mom.
Yeah, and sometimes
Yeah.
that guest is Jake's mom. So we're going to
Love
be
you, Mom.
reading real emails.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you.
Okay.
Kisses. I love my mother. Do you have a problem with that? I love my mother is very important to me.
Why are you mad?
Is that an issue?
It's a little bit. The only issue is
Kisses to you. Love you, mommy. Excuse me. Do you have something to say about the way I display my affection for my mother?
It's a little loud during the show, like we're getting kissing noises.
I'm sorry about that.
What?
I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize that would be a problem.
Got it.
I won't do that again.
Cool. So these are real.
Hugs to mommy.
What's that?
Hugs to mommy. No kissy noise.
Got
No
it.
kissing noises. Yeah.
Hug, hug, hug.
Okay. Okay.
I love you so very much.
All right.
She's near and
yeah.
dear to me.
Why don't we spend 30 seconds? You say everything you need to say about your
I don't need to say
mother.
anything else. I don't need to say anything else.
All right. So you're done.
Yeah, I don't
Cool.
need to say a word. I will show it
So,
by.
so just show it now. Show it.
Holding my hand.
I am sitting on my mother's lap while we record this.
We're sharing a microphone
Yes.
and a ham sandwich. So, well, as I was saying, these are real emails from real people that we received. If you have your own questions, you can send it to ifiwereyoushow@gmail.com. We're going to give these people fake names, just to preserve their anonymity.
Of course.
And, Laura, why don't you give us our first fake name?
Okay, I'm gonna have to.
It's a
think
lady.
A lady. Okay. I'm trying to think what I've been watching recently that has had a lady in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, I'm blanking. I'm totally blanking.
That is another instance of the male-dominated Hollywood model.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool. You're right. I'm going to think back to the movies that are nominated for Oscars and how few women there are in them.
Thank you.
One-
Oscar's so a guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oscar
Yeah,
so
it's
guy.
true. So guy.
All-white
and
guy.
One female who's nominated is Brie Larson, so we'll go with Brie.
Brie
How's
Larson writes, so yeah, I dated this guy, and after a month of dating, he told me he wasn't, and after a month of dating, he told me he was going to join the Mormon church. After that, we dated for 3 years. We broke up last April because he was leaving for a 2-year mission in South America. I was completely supportive of his religion throughout the relationship, even though I'm agnostic. I still email him while he's on his mission and considered him to be a good friend. The problem is his mother. She and I were very close during the relationship, and since I broke up with her son, she still expects things to be the same. She recently told me she cried because she thought that I didn't want to be friends with her anymore. I still want to keep in contact with my ex, but I don't think we'll ever get back together because of our massive religious differences. She buys me gifts all the time and gets upset if I don't see her when I'm in town. How do I tell this incredibly nice mother that I can't be friends with her anymore? Thanks. Love, Brie Larson.
Wow. I think that's really unusual because usually Mormon mothers would want their kids, I would think, to marry.
Yeah, you think she'd be like
faith,
thrilled.
don't you think?
Right.
Yeah. Like,
After
So
3 years, the mother just must have gotten attached, but...
Yeah, I guess. But usually that's a big thing, I would think, in a religious, especially if you've got a kid who's on a mission.
yeah.
You know?
That's
It's
a
like-
big one. That's a
Yeah.
full dedicating 2 years of his life thing.
Yeah.
But you have 6 children. So you've had your fair share of significant others come and go.
I have, and Jake can.
My mom's
tell
probably
you
pretty
this.
close to this lady's mom, actually.
Yeah,
My mom's kept in touch with one too many of my exes.
I have. I get very attached. I genuinely like.
In high school, there were times that I
everyone.
had to leave the house because my ex-girlfriend was coming over to dinner.
Right, that did happen. We took an ex-girlfriend on a vacation.
What?
Yeah, it was awkward.
Of course. What is that?
I think we'd already that one I was complicit in too. We had like already bought.
we'd already bought the.
We'd already bought the
tickets.
tickets.
And after you broke up, you're like, why don't you still
It
go
still
on
would have
vacation?
been less expensive to have her not come because like we would have lost
Yeah.
money on the ticket, but not on any of the meals or anything.
This is what
at
your
the
dad
time.
said as he was sitting you down.
As he was talking to my ex.
It's just that. Consider that a sunk cost. Do you understand that, sweetheart?
Jake got a 300 on his math SAT.
but I'm pretty bright when it comes to this stuff. And if you'll see this figure is how much I'll waste on you. I can't believe you brought an ex-girlfriend. Like it's a big deal to
Yeah.
bring an actual girlfriend on a family vacation, let
Yeah,
alone an ex.
We tend to get close to people pretty quickly, I think. And this girlfriend, I really liked her. She was like a daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know. She was just that was your first girlfriend.
You have enough daughters though.
Yeah, I have a lot of daughters.
Yeah, you have
and I
real
love them
daughters.
all, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
But she was like a little bit more troubled and moody,
Oh,
and
so
I
you've-
was kind of drawn to that because my kids are pretty
Well
upbeat
adjusted.
and cheerful.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
You wanted an angsty teen.
I kind of did. It's weird.
You sat her down and asked her to yell at you.
yeah, yeah.
My mom's just great at bonding with anybody. So like I think everybody's significant others have always liked you. And I think it's kind of tough when you break up with somebody to be like, you're not only losing that person, but you're losing access to like
The family.
family, yeah.
And I think a lot of the times, at least in my relationships, one of the harder parts of breaking up with somebody is that I've generally liked their friends and family a lot too.
Yeah, and you never
Yeah,
actually break
yeah.
up with the family. You just break up with the person, and then you never say goodbye to the parents.
You don't get
you
those
just
No,
say,
you don't get that
talks.
closure
It just
You don't
like-
get the,
thing.
like,
It's almost like dying because you literally will not. You just won't ever see or talk to that person again without any warning.
right, unless you're my
That's
mom,
right.
in which case you will go out to several
Right,
meals
yeah.
and sometimes a vacation.
and email them and say happy birthday on Facebook, and
Oh,
it just
yeah.
goes on and on and on. It
And you're still in
does.
contact with more than one of my exes, would you say?
Yes, I am.
All right.
I am. I definitely am.
What do you mean contact? Like email?
Occasionally, I've said something. I've emailed them and like follow them on Instagram usually
Yeah.
and like stuff.
I wish you'd stop doing that.
It also must be weird for that ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend where it's like, wait, why is your ex-boyfriend's mom liking stuff and why are you going to
Yeah.
dinner with her?
I didn't think of it that way because it's true. I mean, I have the same last name as Jake.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, maybe I got to stop.
Maybe I should change my last name.
Or at least my Instagram handle.
So how can you tell, what if one of these ladies actually had to break up with you and say like, listen, I can't.
That would be like kind of painful for me, I have to say, but I also would understand it.
You've also
think.
never been broken up with.
Not to my knowledge. I feel like maybe they could have like stopped like sending me emails or something. That actually
Right.
might have happened. And that's okay.
You got
after a
jumped
while,
by
you
one of the
just
girls that I jumped.
But I think for this mom, I mean, she probably really got invested and it probably, makes
Maybe
her
she
feel...
doesn't have a daughter. Maybe she only
she
has a
doesn't.
son. And she was really excited to have a daughter, even if she wasn't a Mormon. Here's how this girl should play this, though. She doesn't have to break up with the mom. She just tells the son to break up with the mom. It's like, it's great. This kid can break up with the mom for you.
Oh, so like you have to say,
It's
hey,
sort of
listen,
like-
will you talk to
Yeah,
your mom about
It's like
this?
in 8th
Yeah.
grade when you would break up with people through your friends. Like, Jake doesn't want to go out with you anymore. Bye. Like, and
I did that last year.
Yeah.
I hired an 8th grader
to break up with me.
to
But
break up
that's
with
like
my
the level
adult.
of cowardice that's okay in this situation, because like you shouldn't really be hanging out in the first place, and it's not your place to break this lady's heart. You can just say, "Hey, your mom's contacting me a lot. I think we like need to stop talking to each other so much. But I feel too bad. Can you let her know?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he can be as gentle as he needs to be with
The
his mom.
liaison.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. And I think he probably could say it. And she could probably say it to the ex-boyfriend, really nicely, too.
Yeah, way more candidly. than she
Yeah.
could-
And then she calls the girl and be like, wow, you didn't even have the balls to break up with me in my face, did ya?
just dumping out clothes on her front lawn.
Grabbing her by the ball sack.
I think that's a good solution, though. That really is.
Yeah, it's one of those we all agree on.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
almost like I thought of it. That's how much I agree with it.
Well, I'll take it, because there is a record of me thinking of it.
Well, I actually, my heart hurts right now, though, for the mom, I have to say, but I think it's the best solution. I'm just saying. I
Yeah.
think it's because I'm over-identifying.
Yeah,
but that's
that
a really
mom
good
will
solution.
find a new that guy will find a new girl, and
Yeah.
Hopefully a Mormon.
yeah, or
agree,
actually,
yeah.
either way. But he'll find a new
A
girl,
sister wife.
and that mom will be ready to love, because she will have gone through the heartbreak and the
Right.
loss and the acceptance that she doesn't have that girl in her life anymore, and
That's
then she'll
right.
be ready.
That's a funny romantic song to write, is like a mom looking at a picture of a 17-year-old girl being like, where is she? I can't believe she's gone.
So true.
My little son's girl. That's
Has there?
for another
Oh, actually,
day.
I'll just talk to you about this after the podcast, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
got
let's save it for the
Hold
commercial
that,
break.
Hold that thought. We'll talk.
All right, let's get to another question. This one is also... Oh, wait. No, that's the same question. Oh, no. This one's also from a lady.
Whoa.
A lady, another lady. Okay. All right. I'll go with another Oscar nominee.
Okay.
I'm going to mangle her name. Saoirse?
Saoirse Ronan?
Saoirse Ronan.
She's nominated for an Oscar?
Didn't she?
Yeah, I think she
did.
I do believe so, for Brooklyn.
That's
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Saoirse Ronan, right?
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Huge fan of the show. Should I read this parenthetical? It says, I'd like to F Jake.
Oh, all right. So you already read it.
I'd like to F Jake. Unrelated. Here's my predicament.
That's what's up.
I'm a college senior, and I've recently started fucking a new guy. Things were going great until there were a few red flags.
You said F Jake, and then you said fucking
Yeah,
new
because
guy.
now that the floodgates are open, we can just go for it.
Cool.
I've recently started fucking a new guy. Things were going great until there were a few red flags. We started talking about our families, and it came out that not only is his mom gay, but his sister is also gay. At first, I thought nothing of it, but then he told me that his new favorite show is The New Girl, and that his favorite movie is The Sound of Music. The way he dressed kind of gives me pause. Think corduroy pants and striped socks. Also, one time during a sexual encounter, he called me Matthew. Am I fucking a gay guy? Should I be concerned? Always yours, Saoirse Ronan.
Wow. That was loaded with a lot of interesting information.
Yeah, this girl is blunt. She
She's-
tells it like it is.
She really
Yeah.
does. I think there's a bunch of stuff she doesn't need to worry about. Like, I honestly don't think the thing about the mom being gay and the sister being gay, I mean...
It's not genetic.
So,
It doesn't
like,
run
what-
in the family,
Yeah.
right? I don't know anything about being gay.
I like saying like stuff very like empirical, like it doesn't run in the family, right?
Right? Right?
Am I correct?
Well, you can't have two gay twins. Right?
Correct?
Is that,
I do
or
have...
actually, only twins are like if there is a twin and one's gay, they're always both gay, right?
Yeah, right? And only twins are gay and nobody else is gay, right?
Right,
And if you're
right.
gay and you're not a twin, then you had a twin and you ate him in the womb, right?
And
Right?
corduroy pants are very gay, right?
Striped pant socks. First of all, some of this stuff is me. Like, I like the new girl and I wear striped socks.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've worn corduroy pants at...
Well, to be
one
fair,
point or
he
another.
also is fucking this guy named Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew. I was going to say, me and Matthew both watched the new girls
You are
together.
this girl's fuck buddy. That's why she wants to fuck me.
Oh, it finally makes sense. So of all her
Concerns? and
concerns,
stuff?
let's rank them onto like most to least gay. So striped socks is pretty low.
Pretty
I think that's the
low.
most gay thing of all.
Really?
Well, what color are they?
More so than corduroy pants, I guess, is pretty not gay. I don't know the correlation between corduroy pants and gay.
I don't even. Yeah,
I
I've
don't-
never associated corduroys
Me
with
neither.
homosexuality.
Well,
Not
actually, it
even
makes sense because it's
slightly.
ribbed, and then you're like, oh, this is like a cock. I like having cocks on my legs.
Amir.
I hadn't thought about
Oh my God.
Amir. Good point.
I'm going to write that down.
Sound of Music's pretty. That's dope. I like that.
I mean, yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
It's got some good music in it.
That one is the most stereotypically gay because
It-
it's
it
like
is. The new girl,
musical.
I
But if we're talking
wasn't
about stereotypically gay, he was raised in a house
By-
with two gay women. So that movie might have been playing. As long
But-
as we're talking about gay stereotypes, and then it's
But-
like sort of you're nostalgic for it.
Actually, though, I don't mean to have a lesbian stereotype. I think The Sound of Music is more a
yeah.
gay man stereotype,
Yeah.
and he would maybe be around Melissa Etheridge and the Indigo Girls.
Yeah.
To my
You know?
window, dance by the light.
Yeah, I think
of the moon.
my tastes are more of gay women because I like those songs, and then also I like vaginas.
You're a total lesbo.
You think so?
Because yeah, dude, you love Sarah McLachlan,
Of course.
and Tatas
And Tattoo. Remember that band?
too. TNTU.
The one interesting thing is that he called her Matthew.
Matthew, that is the troubling
Right, that's
thing
the
in
gayest
my
of all.
book. Yeah, that's
But her name might rhyme with Matthew or sound like Matthew.
true because it's not really Saoirse.
Right, exactly.
I don't know that. Did she like? I mean, the thing that's curious to me is if someone did that to me, I'd immediately call him on it. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you just called me Matthew. What's up with that?
Yeah, why did you do that? And then he'll be like, because Matthew McConaughey's hot, and I like to pretend like I'm fucking him.
Yeah, and that would be
thought
kind
of
of
it
a
like
dead
that.
giveaway.
Another clue.
Yeah,
Plus
another
the
clue.
socks.
More leading.
Is it a big concern among a lot of people that like the guy that they're fucking is gay? Because
think
isn't
it's-
like if he's fucking you,
It's not good enough.
that's pretty straight to me.
At the very least, he's bi. Yeah, what does it matter if he's gay if he's having sex with you? You're worried that he's a closet homosexual that'll come out and break up with you one day, perhaps?
I guess maybe.
But some people are metrosexual, which is like ambiguously...
That's right. And I really do, and I don't mean to sound preachy, I think sexuality is kind of a continuum. Like you're somewhere on this sliding scale, and sometimes you're a little closer
Amen.
to being, gay or bi than other people. I really do think that it's not like an either or. I think you can be somewhere in the middle very comfortably.
Or you could also be on either end of the spectrum. You could
Yeah,
be
you
very
can-
gay,
you
or
could
like
be.
me, very, very straight. I actually love pussy. I actually only wear blue jeans, and I only wear solid socks.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the new girl?
Yeah,
I think
what
it's pretty good.
Oh my God.
I also
you go,
love the sound of
continuum.
music. I am 16, going on 17. You are 17, going on.
Of all the songs to sing from that, that's like probably the most
That's the gayest one.
obscure and gay.
It's a duet between a man and a woman.
Yeah, but you were singing the woman part.
Still,
Right.
you are 16 going on 17.
How about Climb Every Mountain?
I don't know that one.
Oh, God.
So in conclusion, he may or may not be gay.
Yeah.
If he's boning you, I would say he's at the very least in the middle.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not completely gay.
Yeah.
I like to
Yeah.
say, like, in conclusion, none of the evidence you've provided us with makes us think he's gay, except
Except for-
maybe calling you Matthew,
Matthew.
in which it gives me only the tiniest bit of pause. So I think you're good.
Yeah, and you'd also want to, well, I don't mean to get gross, but like what position, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm
Always,
talking
always
about.
anal.
Always
For
anal.
fucking him.
Always anal. Her, yeah, boning him with a banana. Sorry, I should have read that PS. Okay, let's take a break. We'll thank one more sponsor, and then we'll be back with more questions and answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you as well to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode. Namaste. Toda and gracias, Squarespace.
That's their slogan, right?
Yeah, namaste, toda, and gracias, Squarespace. Building your own website can be difficult.
Not for me, I'm a programmer, but go on.
Okay, well, if you're not a developer with front-end and back-end user expertise,
Oh, I'm experienced in front end and back end. You know what I mean?
sure. Building a website portfolio or online store it could be a difficult task.
Just saying.
Yeah.
It's sexy the way I say shit.
But with Squarespace, everything is simplified. You can have professionally designed sites regardless of your skill level, and there's no coding required. There will be a time in your life where you will need to build a website either for yourself or for your loved one. Your mother or boyfriend will be like, I need to make a portfolio. I want to build an online store. Do you know how to do it? You'll say, yes, I do.
You know, actually, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast. I used Squarespace to get my sister a Christmas present.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What'd you bake her?
She is a photographer, and I bought her her domain. And I set her up with a blank canvas to make her portfolio.
That's right. Excellent gift idea. If you have a loved one whose gift or Valentine's Day coming up, Squarespace.com is a website that's trusted by millions, and plans just start at $8 a month, and you get a free domain when you sign up for a year. I know what you're thinking. There are no good free domain names. There's no more available domain names left to purchase. Well, that's when you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. That is while you're wrong. Because every time we endorse Squarespace, we give you a few URLs that you can purchase yourself.
That's right.
So, for example, if you want to act fast, you can buy the following URL, Jake.
Well, I will say my sister's URL. I bought it, acted fast. It was still available. HannahHurwitz.com.
Okay, obviously that one's taken.
Just to give her some promotion for her photography website.
Yeah.
But she also is the inspiration behind my my URL today. When we were playing Scrabble a long time ago, she cheated and she added the word tie in front of diary, and she told me that tie diary was a real thing and it was a tie-dye diary. Little did I know that it wasn't a real thing, and also it would have been a proper noun, and that's illegal in the game of Scrabble. That being said, TYEDIARY, tie diary,
Is available.
and if anybody out there wants to make a tie-dye diary, I do believe that tie diary is the best URL for you
Now's
guys.
your chance. And my suggestion is LazySuzette.com. Lazy Suzette. It's like a Lazy Susan, but a little more cute, quirky, and borderline French.
Yeah,
A Lazy Suzette.
the best thing you can be.
So start your free trial site today. You don't even need your credit card. Nothing is required at Squarespace.com. And if you do go to Squarespace to build this website eventually, or today, just use our offer code, If I Were You, to get 10% off your first purchase. That's Squarespace.com/IfIWereYou. Offer code, If I Were You, to get 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace. Build it beautiful. Let us also thank a new sponsor, TrueGrowers.com.
What that is, though.
TrueGrowers.com. It's pretty simple. If you want to give your loved one flowers for Valentine's Day,
Which I do.
I highly recommend TrueGrowers.com because, one, it's not too too late to shop for Valentine's Day. And 2, for only $50, they'll send beautiful roses of your choice with the click of a button. It's minimal gift-giving effort, but maximum gift-giving outcome.
Right. Flowers are beautiful. They are fleeting. Their beauty isn't built for this world. They are too gorgeous to last.
This
That's
is
flowers.
This
That
is the letter
love.
that you should write. This is the message that you should write with the flowers.
Yeah.
Flowers are they're fleeting. They're gorgeous. They'll die just like us.
No, you say.
So let's enjoy each other while we can,
Yeah,
baby.
we're something like that.
Love your secret admirer, and then you write your name.
Secret admirer.
Oh, I love that. Their flowers are freshly cut, and as soon as you order them, they're shipped directly to your or their door. Better than any supermarket for a third of the price. So, real simple. Don't worry about Valentine's Day anymore. Just go to truegrowers.com. That's TRU growers.com and send your loved ones some flowers this holiday season. And even more cynically, just stop worrying about a Valentine's Day gift. You could just go to truegrowers.com and send flowers and then be done with it.
You get like a nice looking, like a real thing, like a real nice little Pinteresty thing. And that's what we're all about. An Instagrammable flower.
Their website does say kick-ass roses, so you know they're sort of cool for school.
Yeah, it's for cool ass dudes.
Yeah, for cool
ass chicas.
So if you're a cool dude, check out truegrowers.com this Valentine's Day season. Let's get back to your mommy.
Yay, mother.
And we're back.
Woo!
We were just on your podcast.
Yeah, and you guys were awesome.
You
You
think
were
so?
so good. Yeah.
Who was better?
I would say, and Jake, you know how much I love you.
I love you too.
adore you. You guys were equal. I loved you both
That
equally.
breaks Jake's
You were-
The biggest
just needed
slap
me.
on the face. You guys are equal. Just crushed you.
I am
I'm
so
floored.
sorry. I honestly, you guys though,
I'm floored, mama.
you know what though? I have to say, what was interesting to me was the information you guys gave me about your teenage selves.
We'll talk about just your podcast in general and then the story that was
Oh,
specific
okay.
to you.
Yeah, it's a short story podcast, and it's a little. I mean, I love it. I tell a story every week, and
It's
it's
called
a
The
different
Easy
story.
Chair.
The Easy Chair, and I tell a different story week to week. And it is challenging to come up with original content every week. So I cheat a little by having guests. And in this case, I wrote a story with information that you guys gave me.
About our high school selves.
Yeah, about your high school selves. And it was fun, like your favorite expressions, your styles,
Yeah,
your favorite
your
band.
passions, your bands. Yeah, what you thought you were going to do when you grew up. And
My hair products.
your hair products. That was interesting to me. So
Yeah,
it was
whatever
fun.
happened to mousse? You never see that anymore.
I
Do people
think
still
it's-
use mousse?
I think people do, but
It's around.
Yeah,
Do people
it's
use
around.
mousse?
It is.
People use it.
Oh, really?
I mean, like when you see people with their hair just like straight up and like very.
like porcupine.
Isn't that
stiff
gel?
looking hair.
Did you ever use mousse?
Yeah, I used a shit ton of mousse.
He did.
I think
He did.
my 8th or 9th grade yearbook photo legitimately has like a stain of mousse on my because
This
I
is
have a
true.
cowlick that makes my hair natural part like kind of over my right eye.
Right.
But I wanted my hair to be
Down the
parted down the
middle.
middle, like
Yeah.
everybody else had. And I could not get this like part half my head to go over one to that side. So I would just mat it down with so much mousse
It's true.
Oh,
that
God.
you couldn't even
It-
touch. Like it felt like it just
Crispy.
Yeah,
It
it,
was
felt like a
chicken
fish
bones.
stick on the side of my head.
Yeah.
It was so hard, and like then it would, and during the day it would like drip down my ear.
Oh, God.
And it was such an unattractive style.
Yeah, like
Nothing
looking back on it,
personal,
it's like,
but-
oh my God. But is that the reaction you had in the day? In the
Yeah,
day?
and
Like,
I
what
thought
are
it
you
was
doing?
ridiculous.
It's disgusting.
Because he
Your
had
hair
this
looks wet.
blonde, like really beautiful corn silk hair, and he just like hardened it into this mass, and he parted it down the middle, and then he had that like bowl thing going on in the back. I guess it's a skater cut.
Yeah,
Is that what that was called?
It was a skater cut.
Did you ever skate though?
I would bring my skateboard out onto the back
He
porch
would.
and practice my ollie.
He could do an ollie, but nothing else. He couldn't be in motion.
No,
It had to
yeah.
be like a static ollie. And
I
he got
couldn't
good
really
at it.
skate up and down the street.
Yeah.
I could
That's
sit on it and sort of like gravity drift me towards one corner or another.
This is the most embarrassing thing about my style is like skateboarders had like, you could tell who was a skateboarder because like one side of their shoe would be really scuffed up.
Oh, yeah.
Just like covered in holes from doing ollies. And I didn't skate enough to get like a really good hole. So I used to rub my shoe on the side of the house to like get it appropriately scuffed.
I didn't
Is
know
there anything more
this.
mortifying than like a cool kid seeing you do that?
Oh,
Like, what do you do?
God.
Like on my way to school, sometimes I just like drag my left foot on the sidewalk and like,
Oh.
yeah. If someone had found me out, it would have been very, very embarrassed.
You'd been a fraud, a phony.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I really did not know that.
So much effort to fake it that like you could have just practiced skateboarding.
Right. If I had practiced skateboarding, if I had spent as much time just like standing on the skateboard as I spent in the garage with sandpaper whittling down my shoe,
You'd be a pro.
I could be Tony Hawk right now.
Whittling my shoe. Next up on the X Games, we're going to be whittling our shoes. Whoa, look at him go. He whittled his shoes so quickly.
Tony Hawk perfecting the 1080.
So our episode is already up of the Easy Chair.
Yeah. It's up this week.
And you can find it by Googling the Easy Chair, going to headgum.com.
Yeah.
Or by searching Laura Hurwitz
or
in iTunes?
Yeah, Laura Hurwitz.
Didn't we like have some? Yeah, I don't know how to find your podcast. If you just go to headgum.com.
Go to HeadGum because they're the best.
Yeah.
Best podcast network going.
That's right.
Yeah.
They
Your
absolutely
son
are.
started a podcast network. How does that make you feel?
I could not be prouder. Could not be prouder.
What does your other son do? Jack shit?
I'm sure he's going to finish his senior year
Yeah.
very well.
He actually
Oh,
is
wow.
going to graduate
Sorry.
college.
Throw it in my
I didn't mean to
face.
throw it in. That sounded really mean.
Cool. I actually built a podcast
so
thing. I actually do
mean.
pretty well without college. And you're
I
welcome.
know.
I saved you and Dad $100,000 worth of debt.
You are
so sorry
so
about
right.
that. Sorry about that. Can I actually just
my
get
God.
however much money you guys spent to get Micah through college? Can I just have that in a check? Let's talk to Dad about that one. It's fucked up. The only Hurwitz that saved any money on college, and I'm also the only Hurwitz that's doing anything worth a damn.
Doesn't your older sister do a lot of work, volunteer work,
A
at
non-profit,
nonprofit?
as in she doesn't make a goddamn profit.
No,
Meanwhile,
it's-
I'm making, trust me, more than just chump change on all the podcasts that are under my umbrella.
Jake.
And let me tell you what. Let me tell you a little something about my umbrella. It's raining outside. It's not just raining; it's pouring. and the sound, the rain doesn't make a drip drip drip
What does
sound.
it
It makes a
make?
ka-ching ka-ching ka-ching
So
ka-ching.
why are you holding an umbrella if it's raining money?
Because I don't want it to hit my head.
How are you going to get the money, though?
I collect it in the street.
What do you do?
It cascades off the umbrella into a funnel that takes it to a bank.
A funnel.
I made a Rube
bank
Goldberg It's not important. It's not literal, ass.
So you're standing on the funnel?
Rachel does a really great job of she's a
Spanish translator.
Spanish to English translator for victims of domestic abuse whose first language isn't English.
Right, so
not a
she-
lot of cash in that though. I
No,
don't
but she
think.
explains what a
Ka-ching,
restraining.
ka-ching, ka-ching. We have one
my God.
podcast where the Rosenberg twins invent shit.
You know, Jake, honestly, I do talk about you as a sort of reverse cautionary tale. Because, like, everything that your parents usually tell you not to do, you did, and it got you where you are. So,
Which is where?
you're in a real good position.
Up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Congratulations.
With an umbrella, with
Because the
money
water's
raining
getting
down.
warm.
Yeah, I remember the days of just waiting in the computer room to hide my report card until the
Oh, yeah.
it was like everybody knew it was coming, and it was a race to the mailbox to see if I could hide it before they found it.
Now it's all online.
Yeah.
There's no hiding. There's emails.
no hiding. The truth is just out there.
That's interesting.
It is.
Oh, that's too bad.
Did you know that we're going to Austin for South by Southwest?
Yeah, I heard that.
Headgum is doing 3 shows.
That is unbelievable.
It's
That
our-
is so cool.
It's our first podcast festival of sorts.
Like, are you on a big stage with like people?
It's a very
around
big
you?
stage.
Well,
Is-
it's just
Over
it's a
300
normal-
seats.
The stage itself is.
Stage.
That's
Yeah, that's true.
super impressive.
Did
That
any of the
really
other
is.
kids ever do a Headgum festival?
No, of course not.
No, they did not.
Did they ever do a podcast with Amir? I have to be very specific, otherwise she'll find something that's good that they do.
Some other shit that they did that's nice. So if you're in Austin, if you're listening and you're in Texas, or if you're far away and you're thinking, it would be a fun little road trip, is if I go with my boys, my buddies, my girls, my pals, and we go to Austin for the weekend. Austin's a very fun city.
It could happen. When is South by Southwest?
That's great question. Our shows are on Thursday, March 10th, and then we have 2 shows on Friday, March 11th. And we're not only going to be there, but our friends are going to be there. All of your favorite other Headgum podcasters are going to be there, like the Rosenberg twins, like Josh Rubin, like Black Man Can't Jump, and
This is
and
why you're single.
She
Kevin
didn't text
Porter
back.
from the Gilmore Girls.
John Gabers from High and Mighty. They're all going to be there. It's going to be a party every night. And if you want to meet all of us and hang out and have fun and watch these shows, the tickets are available at ifiwereyoushow.com.
Boom.
I'm signing up. I'm
Yeah?
bringing all my lady friends. We're going on the road. It'll be like the Golden Girls.
Yeah. Why don't you bring that friend that has a crush on me?
I will.
Who?
Don't think
Anita
I
or
won't.
Claudia?
Claudia.
You have 2 friends that have a crush on me?
No,
Yeah,
she has 2 friends, but one of them's hot.
One of them has a crush on you. I have one friend with
They're
a crush
both
on
beautiful.
you. And they are. They're beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful women.
Yeah. Mrs. Robinson's.
Very
Both
nice.
of them.
I did
Yeah.
go to Berkeley, which is where The Graduate takes place.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
So everyone's talking about how they went to college.
Oh, come on, man.
Whatever.
I actually took the SATs twice. Did you take them twice?
I did, yeah. I did.
And I think they used to let you combine scores. They do let you combine scores,
Right.
right?
Oh, I
So
took
you can
it.
take your
I think-
highest.
But I
and
think what happened
both
was like
highest.
I don't know exactly how it happened, but I took the SATs once. Then we paid for me to take an SAT prep course.
Yeah.
And then I took them again and I got the exact same score. And my dad was so pissed. I was like, what did I get? He's like, the exact same fucking score.
Really? I can't imagine your dad losing your cool.
Oh,
It's
Losing
so
his
funny because
cool.
he's so chill now.
Yeah.
But when we were
Wasn't
growing
always.
up, he screamed. Just
Yeah.
like
He did.
always screaming.
It was
Raised his
terrifying.
voice.
Yeah. He
So
was
how
a
did he
yeller.
mellow down? Did his kids
honestly
just grow up?
I think he had so much stuff happen to him. The floor kept falling out from underneath him, and he just kind of gave up.
He's like, I'm just zen now.
This is it. This is just it. I'm not going to get excited about anything. And that's kind of where he is.
Or mad
It was
about anything.
after I left home, there wasn't really anything for him to get mad about because the triplets were so good. They're so
Yeah.
well behaved.
Yeah, and Micah's generally, he's well behaved. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like me and Hannah were the bad kids.
Yeah, and Hannah went to boarding school, so it kind of all fell on you.
The first 2. So it's a good thing you kept going.
Yeah.
If
yeah,
at first
thank
you don't
God.
succeed.
Yeah, just
I'm a
keep
success story.
pumping them out.
Trust me, I'm a rags to riches.
Rags.
My father dressed me in rags as a boy.
It was a weird day. I went to school in rags. Do you have time to answer one last question?
Oh yeah, I
Yes.
would love to.
This one's from another mother. A mother from another mother.
Man, I got to come up with someone else who's nominated for something. How
You know
about
they're required to nominate
Okay.
5 women. It's just like it's not like they didn't get as many. It's the
Yeah, but 2 of them were guys in drag.
I wouldn't be surprised with this academy.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm going to go with Charlotte Rampling. I do believe she's
The
nominated.
impressive thing is that you know everybody's name. That's
Yeah, I pay attention to that stuff. Don't know why, but I do.
Adamama.
Charlotte Rampling writes, my daughter is a senior in high school, and I know all moms like to brag about their babies, but she is incredibly bright. 2080 on her SATs and a 4.9 weighted GPA. She's also hilarious and confident and does very well in social situations. She's in the midst of applying to colleges, and her whole family has been very encouraging in this process. Here's my problem. She has only been considering state schools in our area. Firstly, I support her decision, but I cannot understand why she wouldn't apply to a higher tier school. We met with an advisor who assured us she was a strong candidate for Ivy League universities. I think she's a little obsessed with finances. Her father and I are divorced, and I am ashamed to say that she has been caught in the middle of money-related arguments. She is incredibly financially independent, but it's no mystery that we're lower middle class, to put it optimistically. If she received a lot of financial aid, she would still need to take out loans for the rest of her tuition. However, I don't want her thinking about this when looking to her future. She's applied to 4 schools, all of which are very inexpensive, but in my opinion don't provide the quality education that she deserves. There's more. The other day, I used her laptop and saw Cornell's website in her most recent internet history. She's been highly communicative to me about college, telling me a plethora of details about the most trivial of college matters, and she has not mentioned this at all. My first question is, how do I get her to understand that money is not the deciding factor for everything? Furthermore, is it my place to tell her I think her schools of choice are poor choices? Neither her father nor I were very successful in our college years, and I would love to see her make the most out of this time while she is in her prime. Thank you so much for taking the time to advise me, and I appreciate everything you gentlemen do to brighten my day. Thanks again, Charlotte.
Wow, Charlotte.
Charlotte. Actually, I can speak with some authority here because I was a college admissions officer
Holy
before
shit.
I was a teacher.
Can you imagine me and Jake were just going to try to answer this question?
She was a college admissions
Unbelievable.
officer at Yale,
At
actually.
Yale
And she still couldn't get your ass in. She
Yeah,
actually
we
tried to
didn't even
stick your application to the bottom of one that
Not with,
deserves to get
not
in.
with a 2080. You better believe there's enough just from China alone. Perfect 2400s to admit.
that is actually
not just one but
completely
2
true.
classes to Yale.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you have a 2080, I'm sorry, you're looking at Southern Connecticut State.
And that GPA that starts with a 4, that's not going to get you into Yale either. I'm sorry, sweetheart. 4.9, 4 point buy.
That is actually maybe for a state school. Sorry, go ahead, Mom. You are the
no,
authority.
I mean, one thing that's kind of interesting is that, like, Ivy League schools like Yale, their needs blind admission policy would make it so if you didn't have a high income, you could pay very little to go to school there. We have a family member who I think paid like $5,000 a year,
Wow.
just based on income. So
Instead
it's
of,
all,
like,
based on, a lot of times a state school that doesn't have that policy is going to be more expensive.
What's
So,
tuition at Yale for standard?
I have to say I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be this year, but around 50,000.
Oh my God, that's so much money.
Yeah.
For the
yeah.
whole time or just for...
Like, even if you don't go to class.
But amazingly, like, NYU is more expensive.
More than 50?
Sarah Lawrence
College
is more expensive.
a fucking scam,
It's
dude.
a lot.
It's a business. You better believe it's the same fucking thing as Starbucks. All right?
No, because you go to Starbucks.
I love Starbucks.
You would never go to school that often. Real quick, how many people decide who gets into Yale? You worked on that team, right?
I was on the admissions committee. There were 12 of us sitting around the table.
And you guys were the ultimate arbiters of who gets into Yale University and who
There
doesn't?
were a lot of, like, checks and balances because you had outside readers and then you had readers on the committee, and every admissions person had a territory that you're in charge of.
So you couldn't get one of your children in if you really, really wanted to?
Nah, it doesn't work that. Nope,
Even if you,
I
like,
couldn't.
bribed or, like, is there, like,
Nope.
some seedy,
people
like...
Even
people
if it
tried
was
to
me?
do that. I
where it's
had-
like, hey, will you let this person in? It's not really blind. Like,
I had people offer me stuff.
Right.
once got a letter with jewels in it from India.
Jewel CDs?
Actual like loose jewels.
Oh my God.
I got a letter.
She got a letter from Jewel.
Oh my God.
No, I got a letter of support from Mother Teresa.
Wow.
For an Indian student.
Did that person get in?
No.
Didn't have a high enough GPA, unfortunately.
I felt really bad about that
Is
one.
the first filter SAT score and GPA?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a bench. I think people with certain GPAs and SATs just wouldn't even bother applying. I think people kind of self-select.
Yeah.
But another thing that I just remembered is I had a kid apply who was actually completely in the running to get into Yale. She was from California. And with her application, she put in a handwritten note, and it said, "Please do not accept me. My mother really wants me to go, but I don't want to be so far away from home."
Wow.
And it was just such a move. Like,
Threw it away and said, she's in.
Yeah, like she's in.
I was going to accept you anyway.
But it really like broke my heart.
What did you do?
I wasn't the person in charge of the territory. That person got in touch with the girl's guidance counselor, college counselor, and I think she didn't come to Yale. And I believe that I don't know whether we rejected her or how we handled that. She didn't even come up to committee.
Is it a secret process exactly how somebody gets into Yale or not?
Yeah, it's a little bit like there's a certain like subjectivity weirdness to it. And like you look at the constellation of school groups and you map things out. And like if you need someone to play the French horn in the marching band, you might go with that person rather than someone
There's like
who's
tiebreakers that people wouldn't even think about.
Yeah, like weird ones, weird tiebreakers.
Wow,
yeah.
French horn.
Yeah, that was one I actually remember that there's the
Right.
kid who
I
played
remember
the French horn.
I used to look at some of these applications, especially when I was in high school, because every once in a while they would like, even though she wasn't on the committee, or maybe you were, but
I
you would
was
get
outside reading.
You should get folders and like read them. So I would sometimes read the essays, and I would like to get ready for college, and like it was just every single like you didn't stand out if you had a perfect SAT and if you were class president.
That's like
that was
beginning.
like yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
was a
base
given.
level.
Yeah, given.
That's like what it took to be able to apply, and then after that, then you have to play the French horn.
So 2,400, 5.0 GPA is like, all right, let's read this application.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
And then 50% of those people just don't get in.
Yeah, I mean, there's a rating. There's 1 is admit, 2 is admit with reservations, and that's when you discuss things at committee. 3 is reject with reservation, and you generally don't discuss those folks. And 4 is just like put it in the corner.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a brutal process.
And how many
but-
of the applications that you would review, how many would you get 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4?
I probably in an entire admission season gave 2 1s.
But those ones
That's
are not even
so-
reviewed by other people. They're like, all right, this is guaranteed.
It's like,
in.
yeah, if it's your
golden
territory, it's like, okay, well that
So
person's
you
in.
could
just,
almost like personally be like, I have
Well-
autonomy to give a 1.
Well, you sit you still have the committee, it still meets, and you have a computer in front of you, and the score goes up, and if you see it's a 1, there's just not so much discussion. It's like, oh, you must really want this kid.
Yeah.
And then you kind of defend it a little bit, but usually it's like, yeah, I mean, if you gave him a 1, kid's got to be, I mean, usually it's the person who won the Westinghouse Science Prize and,
like
was an
national-
entrepreneur for, and they're going to get into Harvard, they're going to get into Yale, they're going to get into Princeton, Stanford, they're going to get in everywhere. So, yeah, that's a rarity. A lot of people are 2s. And then we used to do these things where we'd have 2 pluses or straight 2s or 2 minuses. So,
Jeez.
yeah.
I would have been rejected with reservation, though.
I bet you anything you would have been right in the running, Amir. I really think you would have been. And
Well, I got rejected from Stanford, and I think they're a little more lax than Yale.
Stanford's really, I think Stanford's super hard to get into.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
think it's
would've
right up
gotten to
there.
Yale.
Yeah.
What does this girl do?
Oh, yeah. This mother.
His mother's just like listening to the podcast, so afraid we're not going to answer the
what?
question.
And-
All right, that first theme song was from... No.
I think that the mother, it's fine for the mother to give the daughter her opinion that she wishes she would apply to these other to Ivy League schools. But
yeah, the
if
daughter's
it's,
probably waiting for it in some
Yeah.
senses. I bet she
Yeah.
like doesn't. She's afraid to. It sounds like she's doing all this stuff in
If
secret
she's
because she
doing-
doesn't want to stress
right.
her mom out. But
Right, I agree. But then there's the whole thing about how a lot of schools have needs blind admissions, and you've got like financial aid based on your need. So that part of it, the financial part of it, is sort of like not even an issue. If the girl doesn't want to go away from home, I mean, that might be something else she might want to consider.
Right. And some state schools have really great honors programs and stuff.
They do.
And they're cheap and they're great and they're good and that's fine by me.
It is.
You don't need to go to an Ivy League school.
That's true. There's, I mean, the prestige or whatever, that's, I think, less important than having a really good
experience in
school.
college.
Yeah, college experience. And
there was also, or some people make the case where it's better to be the smartest kid at a school rather than be the dumbest kid at an Ivy League. I think I read that in Freakonomics or something.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I think this lady just needs to have like a really candid discussion with her daughter because it sounds almost like they can't have an honest conversation about college because they're avoiding the issue of money and where the daughter might really want to go to school. So at the very least, they got to just like put all the cards on the table to decide where the best place for her to go to school is.
I completely agree. Yeah. So I think that's really good advice. Just have a candid conversation.
Do you think I'm smart?
I do think you're smart. I really do. You are very smart.
Thanks.
Why didn't I ever apply myself to shit, Mom? Like, why didn't it show?
I wish I was better with numbers.
Shit. Why was I afraid of? Why was I busy scuffing my shoe instead of learning shit?
Now I'm not lazy, but I don't have the necessary foundation to take anything to the next level.
I wish you'd instilled in me a confidence that being a good student is just as cool as being a good skater.
Work ethic is important, and it needs to start young.
Thanks for coming on our show.
This was the most fun.
I
This was
agree.
honestly the most fun. You guys are wonderful, hilarious. I just love hanging out with you.
You're wonderful and hilarious. And you want to plug anything aside from your podcast? The Easy Chair on headgum.com?
Yeah, the Easy Chair on... you know what? I wrote a novel, and it's called Disappear Home. And it was released last year, but it's out in paperback this year.
Wow.
Ooh.
And it's about hippies in the 1970s. It's about a depraved commune. Always a fun topic.
Yes, and I read it, and I loved it, and I cried on a plane.
Oh, man. That's
Unrelated.
so sweet.
I was watching
Someone
a beautiful
spilled
I was
movie.
watching The Box Trolls, the moving film.
But yeah, I'll plug that. And I'm also writing another novel, but I can't plug it because I don't know what it's going to be called yet. I have my name for it, but
Prolific.
I think it's going to get retooled.
Cool. Well, what's your name? Just because I'm curious.
Oh, I'm calling it The Skinny, like as the the truth, but it's
Yeah.
also about someone with an eating disorder. So
Wow.
yeah.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah, it was
or
a little
not
bit.
so heavy
It's
stuff.
a little bit.
That's skinny.
Yuck, yuck,
That was
yuck,
bad.
yuck, yuck, yuck.
Bad.
We should also plug our new shows on HeadGum. We have 5 new shows on HeadGum this week.
Oh, wow.
So if you're done with this podcast and you're like, you know what, I could listen to some more podcasts. Can we interest you in Let's Talk About Me, Baby, a new podcast with host UTK.
Jake and I are on the podcast.
Jake and I are on the pilot episode of his. It's a conversation. It's a podcast where people, his friends, come on the show and talk about him. Because so often the guests talk about themselves.
Yeah. And what's the point of having your own podcast if you're not going to talk about yourself?
Exactly.
Spent a lot of today talking about me, and I liked it.
Another podcast we have is called We Watch Wrestling. 3 very funny guys talk about wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan, you will love this podcast. Told to me that it was the best wrestling podcast by several wrestling fan friends of mine.
Are there any other wrestling podcasts out
There are many.
It doesn't matter if there are any other wrestling podcasts out there.
Rock!
Yeah, dude.
So if you guys are wrestling fans, must listen to We Watch Wrestling if you're a wrestling fan. Coffee with Crachel, another podcast of ours, is hosted by 2 very funny individuals, Chris and Rachel.
Oh, I was
in
wondering
Seattle.
where Creechel got from.
That's right.
Clever. Like it.
Cloverfields, which is Mike and Steve, also from SourceFed, who have an entire podcast dedicated to Cloverfield, the movie, because there's a whole ethos and world surrounding it, and a sequel coming out. And if you find yourself wanting to know more about Cloverfield, then we highly recommend Cloverfields. another podcast on the HeadGum Network. And lastly, Esports Experts, which is an esports podcast, which is hosted by Kyle Fox.
Mr. Rick Fox's offspring.
Yeah, who's also been on our show, and Jennifer Zheng. So if you like esports or wrestling or Cloverfield or Crachel or UTK
Or coffee. Or Rachel.
check them out. Support our new shows. Headgum.com. The opening theme song was written by Dead Relatives, a.k.a. Cane Breakers. And this closing one was written by Noam Fleischman, who sounds like somebody I was bar mitzvahed with. Noam Fleischman. If you have your own questions, your own theme songs, your own anything, the email address is ifiwereyoushow@gmail.com. Thanks again for coming on our show, Laura.
Oh, my
Mrs.
God.
H.
And thanks
much
for being the
fun.
best
I
mom
love
in the
you
whole wide
guys.
world.
I adore you both.
This is a bonus Thursday episode, so we'll be back in
You
a few
adore us
short days.
both.
Oh,
Nice.
come on, dude.
We'll talk.
We'll see you guys on Monday, and we'll see you guys in Austin. Bye, everybody.
All right.
If I were you, I'd listen to these two Jews and heed exactly what they have to say. If they don't give you good advice, they'll make fun of you anyway.
That was a HeadGum podcast.